Hi everyone, Flora here, and I want to say hello today. Oh my God, it's a glorious day. It is. I've done my meditation and my journaling and my yoga, and now I'm sitting here outside. It's amazing. It's 37 degrees, but it actually feels really nice and warm. I mean, it's kind of crazy. But anywho, today I want to talk about manifesting versus doing. Because I see so many people just run themselves ragged when they try to manifest something in their life, and what happens when you want to try to bring something into your life, when you want to try to create the life of your dreams, when you want to create or manifest a house or a spouse or a car or a job or the perfect coach or some type of experience or some type of also intangible, like that internal state and that internal feeling. Hi, Thomas. A lot of the times people get too caught up in the doing. Now, we live in a universe that is in constant motion. Hi, John. And so when and because we are in constant motion, when we manifest, we should also be in motion as well. But you need to be in mindful motion. You don't need to be or exist in a state of this constant, perpetual, almost hyper motion. Okay. So what do I mean by this? So when we go to manifest anything in our life, what we do is we get really clear and specific on, I want to manifest this. Like one of the things that I wanted to manifest about 5 or 6 years ago was a life that was just peaceful and calm and chill with no bullshit, no codependency, and just really allowing myself to be truly, deeply, and utterly happy. And one of the things that I was guided to do was to move back home. And so, hi, Jason. And so that's what I did. I moved back home, found a beautiful plot of land on 2 acres, and it is so chill. It is so peaceful. I wake up with a smile on my face every single day, but I had to work for that. And what did I have to do? I had to first and foremost get really specific about what was not working in my life. I had to get very clear and specific about what I was done putting up with and what I really wanted to bring into my life. And I got specific. I wrote it out. That's what the work looked like for me. I had to literally write out, what am I done putting up with? And I was done feeling like an option in the people's lives that I was with at that time. I was done feeling like, like I was an option. Hi, DJ. Hi, Kim. And so I got very clear and specific about what the type of lifestyle that I wanted was. Excuse me. And so I wrote it out. I got so specific about literally everything, about what I did on my Saturday mornings, what I did on a Wednesday night. I got so specific because, like I said, I was tired of living in the chaos. I was tired of living in the bullshit. I was tired of living like I was somebody else's option. Instead of a priority. And so when I finally got specific and I finally said, you know what, I'm going to be my priority. My kids are going to be my priority and my business is going to be my priority. And then the next thing is going to be my health and my well-being. And so those were my top 4 priorities that I chose to manifest around and to choose to create a life that was full and totally expressive of those things. And so once I got super, super specific, so that was the first action that I took, okay? Once I got super specific about what it is that I really wanted to manifest, hi, Rachel, then what I did was I said, okay, peeps meaning the universe, what's the next step? What's the next step forward for me to take? And then I took those steps. The baby steps were to find a place to stay up here temporarily so that I could find a house. So I stayed with my stepsister. And then as I was staying with my stepsister, I was looking for a home and I couldn't find one. Hi, Julia. And then I was like, this tiny little voice inside me said, post something on Facebook about a house. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm like, does anybody have or know of a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house on acreage? And my cousin private messaged me. He's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, why? He goes, dude, I have one coming on the market in like 2 weeks. And I'm like, sweet. So I'm renting my cousin's house. It is absolutely gorgeous. I didn't want to buy. I just wanted to rent because it just feels better for me. And it's on 2 beautiful acres. And I have a meditation path. Oh, I have a back patio that I work on every single day. It is just absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. And those were the tiny right actions that I took. And the actions, and you know, we've been talking about this over the past several days about making just a 1-degree shift in your life. And when you make a 1-degree shift, hi April, hi Julia. When you make a 1-degree shift, what happens is literally your whole life starts to change immediately. And it's not drastic. It is over time. But when, like today, if I make a 1-degree shift, a 1-degree change, tomorrow, well, today is going to be just a little bit different. Tomorrow is going to be just a little bit different than what it was today. The next day is going to be just a little bit different. And what happens is most people get so stuck in the right now, and they get so stuck in the pattern, kind of that holding pattern that they're in, that you miss the opportunities. And think about your life right now. Think about the holding pattern that you're in. I posed this question to you all the other day. If your life was frozen in time right now, would you be happy? Would you be like, hell yes, this is freaking awesome, woo, for the rest of your life? A lot of you said, oh, hell no, you know? And so think about that question. If you don't want to be frozen in time where you are right now, what tiny right action can you take today to ensure that you will begin to live the life that you want to live? Hi, Letitia. Hi, Sarah freaking Hadley. You're amazing. Yay. So, hi, Diane. And the 1-degree shift is not huge. It's tiny. It's so tiny that the people in your life usually won't recognize that you're making it. Really. I could go off on like 5 different tangents here right now, but the key of all of this is really give yourself permission to sit and ask yourself, what do you really want? What do you really want to manifest? Because I'm telling you, if you're caught in this cycle of doing and just scraping like, I've got to do this, I have 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 to do this in order to make this happen, and in order to make this happen, in order to make this happen. When you try to manifest from that type of energy, it's not going to happen. You're not going to manifest anything except for long days and sleepless nights and you going, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Really. And it's not until you actually stop and say, okay, what do I really want? And I know that, I mean, you know, this is something that I say so often, and the reason why that I say it so often is because so many people miss it. So many people try to bypass this process. So many people don't want to do the work. So many people actually don't want to sit down and actually put pen to paper. There's magic that happens when we put pen to paper, people. There really, truly is. Because you're showing the universe, God, spirit, source, whatever you want to call it, you're showing yourself too. And, you know, most importantly, you're showing yourself that you are worth the time that it's going to take for you to actually get really clear and specific about what it is that you want. I ask this question to people all the time. What do you want? And they're like, I want to be happy. Okay, what does happiness look like to you? And then they sit there and they're like, I'm like, it's a simple question. For me, happiness is hanging out with my dog, hanging out with my kids, walking around my meditation path. It's speaking with someone and having them listen instead of walk away and ignoring me. Happiness is being heard for who I am and for what I'm actually saying, instead of what the person thinks I might be saying or implying. Happiness is being able to wake up in my own bed, in my own house, on my terms. Happiness is about eating what I want to eat, when I want to eat it. Happiness is about watching the movies that I want to watch. Happiness is about spending time with people who really matter to me and who I know I matter to them. You know, and I have not been as happy as I am now, I don't think, in my entire life. This is the happiest I think I've ever been. And one of the things about manifesting is that when you get clear about what you want, and then you go after it, and the bullshit you just weed out, you're like, fuck this shit, excuse the vernacular, but you're like, no. And you finally put your hand up and you're like, I'm done. You know, I'll give you an example. The last partnership that I was in, long-term partnership, it was 8 years. And the person treated me like I was an option. And the person treated me well. He slept with several people while we were together. One of them being the neighbor. Pretty much the whole time that we were married. And when I was talking with him, he would often get up and leave the room. Just, you know, he'd get up and walk away in the middle of a conversation. Or be constantly reading a book. Or constantly on his tablet or his computer. And didn't have the time of day for me. And I felt like I was not important. And I was this person's spouse, partner. And very condescending towards me. Would say things to make me doubt what I really truly wanted. It was a very, very unhealthy, very codependent relationship. And my best friend, every week I would call her crying, and I'm like, oh, you know. And the thing is the rest of my life was good. It wasn't great, but it was good. And that was the one thing that I was so desperate to try to fix. And I went to so much therapy. And I read so many books. And this is a prime example of just doing and doing and doing and doing and doing and doing and doing versus manifesting that healthy relationship. And I read so many books on how to communicate better and how to have a healthy marriage and a healthy sex life and all this stuff. I mean, like, I was running myself ragged. And I even was considering going on hormones to fix my poor libido. But the fact of the matter is that when you're with someone who treats you like an option, you're not going to want to have sex with them. I just got to be honest, you know. The libido is not going to be there because what's the turn on in somebody who treats you like shit? There is none, you know. And so I really had to stop, and I had to take a step back, and I had to say, I don't want to live like this the rest of my life. I don't want to feel like I'm an option. I don't want to feel like I'm a piece of shit. You know, when the rest of my life is good, I want it to be great. And I don't want to be in this unhealthy, codependent relationship anymore. I don't. Because a relationship isn't 50-50. Because then you just have two people half-assing it. A relationship is 100% when you meet together as a whole person saying, let's work this out together. Instead of, well, that's your problem. My low sex drive, that was my problem. Our communication issues, that was my problem. And I was like, and I owned it. I'm like, all right, because it is. I was the one that was choosing to do, and he chose not to do anything. And so I actually had to stop and notice, and I said, okay, how did I manifest this? Because I manifested that, and he manifested it as well. And so I had to really say, what type of life do I really want? And do I want this for the rest of my life? And that's what I encourage you to do. Look at what you have. Do you want that for the rest of your life? And if you don't, you have to get honest with yourself. You have to really say, what do I really want, and what have I been putting up with? You know? And do I feel that I can actually have this thing? Okay? And I knew, and beyond a shadow of a doubt, I'm like, I know I can have a healthy relationship. I know that I can do this on my own. I know that, and I knew it. I could feel it. And I tried to see if he was open to communication and counseling and all this other stuff, and he wasn't, until I finally said I want a divorce. And then he's like, well, I'm going to try now. And I'm like, too late. 8 years of bashing my head against the wall, I'm done. I am absolutely done. You know, but it took me just stop doing and trying to grasp at straws to finally stop and let the dust settle and say, I'm done. I need to actually be with people who appreciate me and who love me and who are my kind of people. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that he's a bad person. He's not a bad person. He's just not my kind of person. You know, we just live totally different lifestyles. We have totally different viewpoints on life. And the fact that we were trying to make a partnership work, it was just kind of a hopeless cause. You know what I mean? But you have to, and it wasn't until I did the work until I figured that out. And that's the thing. I'm sharing my story with you to let you kind of in on a secret that, this is how we do the work. You know, this is how we do the work. We look at our story. We look at the bullshit. We look at what we're done putting up with. And then you get really honest with yourself. You take the gloves off. You take the candy coating, sugar coating off. You take the rose-colored glasses off. You let it all hang out. And you say, what do I have in front of me? And get really honest. Okay? Don't blame anybody else. I don't blame my ex-husband. I blame myself for staying. I blame myself for actually getting to that whole relationship because he had cheated on his first wife 3 times. And I thought he would be different with me. So I knew it. I couldn't be mad. I'm like, nope, I can't be mad at him. I'm only mad at myself. And that's taking personal responsibility for your life. That's taking personal responsibility for your future. Is let it all hang out and say, what do I really want? And that's what I encourage you to do today, is to look at, what do you want for your future? Do you want to put up with that bullshit? Do you want to put up with whatever it is that you're putting up with, whether it's health or wealth or weight or your finances or your career, whatever it is, future trip it. Say, do I want this 5 years from now, a year from now, 6 months from now? And if you don't, sit and say, what do I really want? And get super specific. So super specific. And then what happens when you get super specific is then you can say, okay, peeps, now what action should I take? Now what action should I take? And the trippy thing is, I moved up to Wisconsin. It's been 4 years now. And I got into a relationship with someone. I moved up here, and it was you know, a close family friend. And we talked for a few weeks after I moved up here, and then we started to you know, date. And we dated for about 9 months, and it was a freaking train wreck. It was just a train wreck. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so not what I want. So I broke up with him, and I'm like, I am not dating until I figure out what the hell to do next and how to fix my relationship crap. Because it was bullshit. And so I didn't date, and I didn't do any personal development around relationships. Because like I said, I mean, for the last umpteen years, I had been going to therapy and counseling. I was doing all of the things that I thought I needed to do to fix those things. But finally, I just stopped. And I didn't do any type of personal development or spiritual development work in regards to relationships. And then I was having lunch with one of my very good friends. She's a very good friend now. At the time, she was a very new acquaintance. And she said, you do realize that you're codependent, right? And I was like, what? And I Googled it. And I was like, holy shit. I'm codependent. Yes. And literally, that was the answer that I'd been waiting for all of these years. My first, second, and third marriages, they were deeply, deeply codependent. Deeply codependent. And I am what's it called? So there's an overt and a covert codependent, okay? There is the overt codependent, which is basically that person is a narcissistic sociopath, pretty much, who is very condescending and belittles the person that they're with. And then the other person, which was myself, was the chameleon, was the covert codependent, who very much, doesn't want to say anything because you don't want to ruffle any feathers, and you're just going to be a good girl or a good boy and just do what the other person wants because you don't want them to get mad and all this other stuff. And I'm like, and I was only like that with the people that had an intimate relationship with. And so as soon as I discovered what true codependency was or is, I found a group, a local group, and I go to that group every single week. That is my church. I've worked the steps of Codependency Anonymous several times, and I've worked through the bullshit. And now, and I've even written about this on my blog, I wrote about how I dated somebody for a couple months and realized this is not for me, and I broke up with the person, even though they're a fabulous person. But there was a couple red flags that I was not okay with, and the old codependent me would have stayed. And I chose to leave. And I no longer put up with bullshit in my relationships. I no longer put up with manipulative behavior. But that's the thing, is I had to stop the rat race. I had to stop doing, and I had to get very specific and very clear, and then just wait. I had to wait for the next step. And that was the thing that drove me freaking nuts. I was like, I just want action right now. Because I was so used to taking that hyper action that, and I'm sure you can relate. What are you taking hyper action in your life? You know, whether it's your finances or trying to find clients, or in your relationships, or with your weight, whatever it is. What are you taking hyper action towards and about and around? And today, give yourself permission to just stop the madness. Stop. And figure out, just literally sit your butt down on the chair, get a piece of paper, maybe several pieces of paper, and a pen or pencil or crayon or marker, whatever it is you want to write with, and get really clear about what you're done putting up with. The bullshit that is, you're done. You're like, I'm so freaking done with this. And then just say, okay, what do I want instead? What do I want? And get super hyper specific. And then say, okay, peeps, universe, high self, God, goddess, whomever, what is the next step? Not the next 20, but what is the next step? The literal next step. One step forward that I need to take today. Okay? It could be going to read a book. It could be going to hire a spiritual teacher or a business mentor. It could be going to a support group locally. It could be to have that challenging and difficult conversation with someone. You know, it could be going to see a therapist. You know, whatever that, it could be going outside and going for a walk. It could be putting down the donut. Whatever. One tiny shift is all that it takes. 1 degree today. 1 step forward today. And then tomorrow, 1 more step. That's it. That's it. And I know you can do this. I know you can do this because I've done it. And I've helped so many people do the same thing. And so if you're tired of just being in the bullshit, if you're tired of the rat race, if you're tired of constantly scraping and trying to manifest whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, stop and do the work. Okay? So let me read some of your questions. Real quick before I read some of the questions and some of the comments, I want to let you know I have this new workshop. It's a workshop. It's called the Bullshit Eliminator Quantum Shift Experience. It is on 11/11 at 11 o'clock. So it's on November 11th at 11 o'clock. If you're interested, click the link below. Check it out. Sign up. We do have a limited number of spots available. 111 spots available. So if you want to be one of those 111 spots, then click the link and sign up. Like I said, it's November 11th, 11/11 at 11 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. It's on a Saturday, so you all should be able to make it, hopefully. And it's reserved for 111 people. The Bullshit Eliminator Quantum Shift Experience. And this is something that we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at how to make a quantum shift in your life, in your manifesting, and how you can literally make a quantum shift in the type of experience that you have in your life. It's just going to be freaking epic. So let me see some of the questions that we have here. Crystal says, truth getting clear. Casey says, yes, do the work. Let me see. Hello, Joseph. Lisa says, I also was emotionally ignored for 8 years. Yeah, it sucks. Lisa says, it's taken an entire year to be this happy, but still I have a long way to go. Yes, and Lisa, I tell you, it gets so much better. Like, every day, it gets so much, it's freaking epic. Oh my God, I'm so excited for you. I'm serious. Like, I've never been this happy before. And when you go into your day with intention, saying, how can I make today, or how can I allow today to be even better than it was yesterday, and just make that 1 degree shift. Hands down, it is like the best thing ever. John says, this is how I got my loving wife, and the life I want is I manifested in meditation and got to where I wanted to be one day at a time. Yes, John. Oh, I love it. Hi, Betty. Lisa says, I'm coming back to me in so many ways, but I really don't want a relationship. I'm going to sit with myself for a while longer. Yep. Oh, your B-Day. How exciting, Lisa. Baby steps. Thank you. You're very welcome. And that's just, yes, I agree with you about being alone for a while, especially after really very dysfunctional, very, well, just to put it bluntly, very bad relationships, very horrible relationships. It's beneficial, and I believe it's a must that everyone who's getting out of really bad relationships to take time for yourself, to just have that cocoon time where you heal from those wounds that were caused by the relationship that you both were involved in, not just the other person, but that you were both involved in. And those wounds sometimes take years to heal. Sometimes they heal overnight. But the fact of the matter is that when you give yourself permission to heal, and you give yourself permission to do the work, and you give yourself permission to put you first, and you give yourself permission to just manifest the hell out of life, one baby step at a time, that's when you can start to have the life of your dreams, and that's when you can start to realize that you can be ridiculously happy every single day. Julia says, I feel anxious about starting my business and feel overwhelmed. I'm not sure what I can do. Where do I start? Julia, write out what you want. Be very specific. What type of business do you want? How does that look? What would you offer? I mean, really give yourself permission to just go very deep and very specific. The more specific that you can be with your business, the better. What's the big picture vision? That's a lot of thing that I see business owners skip, is they don't write down their big picture vision. Okay, so just sit down and do the work. One of the things also, if you want to reach out to me, I do have some private spots available. Julia, PM me and I'll send you the link so that we can jump on the phone and I can help you with this, okay? Tank is running around still. Can you see him? Yay! Hi, Tank! Tank's making a cameo in the video. Good morning! Hi, Tank! Hi! What are you doing? Are you finding rabbits? He's such a hoot. God, I love him. He's so comical. Oh my goodness. Never a dull moment with him. Seriously, it is hysterical. Anyway, all right. I love you all so, so much. Julia and anybody else that's interested in working with me one-on-one, whether it's for the personal bullshit eliminator program, I do have private personal coaching spots available. I also have business mentoring. If you're interested in that, I'm actually just going to put the link below as well. So link number 1 is for the Bullshit Eliminator Quantum Shift Experience. It is a workshop on 11/11 at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time for the first 111 people who enroll. Also, click link number 2 if you're interested in working with me privately, so I can help you go and get from where you are to where you truly want to be, so that you can really finally start to have the life that you want. You can start to be happy, and you can start to get rid of the bullshit that is holding you back. Because I'm telling you, there is a brighter, better day, but you have to give yourself permission to take the first step. All right? All right. Have a fabulous day. Mwah! I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.